story that we've been listening to. Probably one of the most famous pictures and miracles that we've come across, isn't it, in the Gospels. Everybody will hear about the feeding of the 5,000. And, you know, to a certain extent, it was an impossible task. Something that wasn't possible to do. Just imagine it from the point of view of the disciples. They were thinking, oh, how on earth can we feed all these people? It would take a year's wages to do that. And one of them said, there's a lad here, he's got his picnic with him. Why don't we share that? Well, they didn't say that, did they? Very interesting, this picnic that the lad had, because it was very humble, very poor. I mean, in factual fact, barley loaves, 5 little barley loaves and 2 small fish. Now the fish were what was quite renowned from in the Sea of Galilee, and they were like sardines. So 2 little sardines and 5 inferior barley loaves. Because barley was, Jews never ate barley, they ate wheat. Wheat was for the poor, the impoverished. You wouldn't serve barley to anybody. But that's... So the disciples could have said, well, what's the point? Why should we bother? I mean, you know, there's this packed lunch we've got, but it's nothing. We know that the story happened. We know that Jesus got people to sit down and he broke the bread and it was enough for everybody. We know the end of the story. But it makes me think, what about the things that we have? Do we think about the gifts that we have? Material gifts, maybe gifts of things we can do. Is there anything we can do to help other people? You see, the lad offered what he had. And the disciples said, well, you know, that's a waste of time. But when you think about what God has given each one of us to use for his sake, then we have the opportunity to share it, to use it. And the amazing thing is that it's nothing to do with the lad, it's to do with God, it's to do with Jesus. He broke the bread, he distributed it, he got and he fed 5,000 people. I was thinking, we'll hear about Philakade soon, but just imagine if the founders of Philakade decided that it's too big a task. It's no point in doing it anything. But yes, they decided, yes, they would do it, the little bit that they could do, and it became, in God's hands, something enormous. We can have, each one of us has a gift, and each one of us has the opportunity to use it or not use it. So let's think about what we can do, how we can help, how we can serve. And God will do the multiplying. Amen.
inviting me here today, and what an introduction. Hopefully in the next 10 minutes I can show you what can be done with that picnic of bread and fish. So, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Is that any better? Yes. Shall I start again?
Yes.
Got that bit. Lovely. Okay, so I think it's been a few years since I've been here to tell you about Philakade, the care home in South Africa, and it's come on a long way since then. So I've come here today to give you a bit of an update. There's not many words in this presentation, it's mainly pictures to keep you interested. So Philakade is a care home based in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. So if you know Durban, it's about an hour inland. It was set up in 2019, building started in 2018. And the reason that it was initiated was because two nurses, one of whom is a good friend of mine, went to a care home in the local area and found out that there was a lot of abuse, really. So people with disabilities in South Africa are given a very small disability grant, about £85 a month. And there are some people who take advantage of that, say they can look after them, but actually, in reality, they don't. They take the money and the patient's given a meal a day, for example. They don't have any running water, there's no toilets at work, there's not enough care, there's 3 nurses to 50 people, for example. So these two nurses decided that they were going to change that. The care home got shut down. 70 of the patients had to go directly to hospital because they were so unwell. And they realised that there's a big need for care homes where they don't take advantage of these vulnerable people. So they went about setting up their own care home from scratch, literally from the ground. And this beautiful area here is where it's based, so Thousand Hills in South Africa. Very deprived township, so equivalent of what we'd call a village here, called Embo, so very high rates of HIV, AIDS, people not treated, so become very unwell with it, unlike in the UK. Lots of TB, lots of abuse as well in this area. So this is Embo. You can see the deprivation in many of the houses there. So in 2018, these nurses liaised with a local pastor. Just over the hill here, there's a rather large church in Embo, and the pastor donated this piece of land for Philakade. So this was 2018. As you can see here, building went on into 2019. And as we near the end of 2019, to November the 3rd, the project was completed, and initially they had 50 residents and patients move in, so people needing one-to-one care 100% of the time, and people who perhaps don't need as much care, and we'd call them sort of residential homes here in the UK. So over that time, things have evolved a lot, so it's nearly their 5th anniversary, this coming November. And let me give you an update of what they've managed in the last year, I would say, so from this point. So you can see the building on the right there, that's a clinic that was already there before they started building. The building just in the bottom left corner there is the church, and the rather large building is Philakade, which turned out bigger than they planned because of the generosity of people donating. And actually, there's a good 80 patients there now, with a plan to increase the number if they can get more funding. So the left of the building here is the one-to-one care ward, and if you see the big windows there, they overlook the hill, so they've got the room of a view. And then the double storey on the right is residential, so they need perhaps a bit of prompting, so helping getting dressed and such, but they don't need sort of care being bed bound. They can go out and about in the area and just need a little bit of extra support socially. People living there are not only those with physical disabilities, so amputees for example, but also mental health problems. So mental health in South Africa is not recognised as well as it is here, and they will often label them unfairly. So for example, one of the patients who moved into Philakade had been kept in a chicken coop at home. So you can imagine the deprivation that has moved into Philakade here. So inside, this is the one-to-one care ward, and you can see one of the nurses there doing the drug round. beautiful view. There's always singing, there's always laughing and happiness in this room. No cheeky patients there. And this is one of the extras actually on Philakade. They managed to build a big deck, so it's all complete same level, and those in wheelchairs could go out onto the deck and enjoy the outside, which they do every day, even in the cold, as you can see with the woolly hats here. And a little area outside when it's nice and sunny to have a seat. So Philakade is run mainly on donations and people volunteering, so occupational therapists, physiotherapists, speech and language therapists, and various other professionals just giving up their time to go and care for these people here because they get zero government funding. Philakade realised that they needed to have some further income, so they've built a few things in the area where they can build some income from the work they do there, and also with the residents who are able, gives them something to do, keeps them entertained. So this was the carpentry workshop, and you can see there they're building things like chairs and pet beds, all made to measure, made to order. They do their own craft work as well, so volunteers come in and help them do their crafts, so they are selling these pictures on site as well. They have a sewing group. They have a white elephant shop, so people donate things from their house, and you go along, you choose what we fancy, and they build a lot of profit from that actually each month. And there was a donation of a playground and a gym as well. And you can see, the quality is not particularly good, but on the left there's a group of go-go's, what we call grandmas, having a seat out in this sort of built gym equipment area, doing their morning exercise. And there's a little child there on the swing as well. So Philakade has children and adults. A lot of the children have cerebral palsy, which you've probably never seen the severity of in this country because they don't get any support, they don't get any physiotherapy, and they end up with really severe disability. In the last year, Philakade has gone off-grid, which is fantastic because in South Africa there's many periods of the year where they will turn off the electricity, shut off the water because there just isn't enough to go around, and that's how they manage it. So they've had solar panels installed, they've got their own water borehole as well, and these massive green containers, the JoJo tanks, contain all the water so that if the water supply were to go off, they've got enough there to keep them going for a good amount of time. They've had a chicken coop built as well, so all the eggs that the chickens lay are used in the kitchen at Philakade. And there have been donations of iPads, so those who are non-verbal or struggle with communication can communicate a lot better now instead of just guessing what they're needing. There's also donations for being able to go on days out, so they're not all stuck inside all the time. So they've been to the beach this year, and you might be able to see the top left picture. They've got these fantastic contraptions that allow them to be wheeled into the sea and float. So for some it's the first time they've ever been to the beach, and certainly the first time they've ever been in the sea. And the children there, bottom right, in the swimming pool as well. And bottom left picture, they were given some tickets to go and see the rugby, if anyone knows the Springboks. And the top right is a picnic in the park. Similar to here as well, dog therapy. They have angel paws going with the dogs, and the housebound patients, the bedbound patients particularly love it as they climb up into the bed and give them a cuddle. And each year they do a sports day, so whether it's raining or not, they will go ahead, and even those in wheelchairs will participate in the races, so wheelchair sprint down the middle of the church, as you can see here. So this picture really made me think about how much you can change somebody's life from the person kept in the chicken coop or the person who was kept in the house all day waiting for their family to come back from work. No access to the toilet, no access to food. And actually being able to live somewhere where they have food, they have hygiene, they have entertainment, they have a sense of purpose again. Philakade translates to live longer, and certainly you can see Philakade is doing just that, allowing these people who perhaps weren't given the best cards in life to have a second chance here. And thank you to St Paul's for supporting Philakade. At least, I think it's been 3 years now you've been supporting them every year. And it really has gone a long way. So the government the disability grant in South Africa is £85 a month. That's not even enough for electricity here, is it? It costs an extra £100 per patient or resident to care for them in Philakade. And because there's no other government money being given to them, that all relies on donations. And for 5 years, for not only these two have succeeded, but still expanding every year, having more and more residents, more and more donations, I think it really reflects how generous people have been, not only in the UK and South Africa as well, of course. So thank you very much for continuing to support Philakade. Lovely. If you want to ask me any questions, very happy to catch you at the end.
So how is it spelled?
Philakade?
Yes.
So it's a Philakade. And if you have a look,
Yes.
just here, they're on the website, they're on Just Giving pages as well, and they've also got a Facebook page if you want to keep an eye on what they're getting up to before I come and see you again. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mm.